We're live, I believe. Let's double check. Waiting on my preview, but hopefully everything is working. Hopefully I have audio. Seems like I've been forgetting how to do that the last few times, but hopefully you are all working. There we go. Happy Friday, everybody. Tonight, I'm getting some work done. Working for the weekend. However that saying goes. Anyway, I've got the 4 dice here in front of me. This is going to be the start of my next project. And we'll discuss that throughout the evening. But my plan is, it's going to be another project similar to like what we did with the Hack-A-Lack with a full build up. But this time in advance, I'm opening up like the build along style. So I was kind of talking about it with the Hack-A-Lack as I was like going to like release the files later, but it was if I didn't do it from the start and organize it that way, it was going to be difficult. So I figured with this one, that's how we're going to do it. I'm going to just include, I think I opened 6 spots. So 6 people to build along with. And I'll share the laser files, the 3D print files, all of those things so that you can, try and build the same thing as I build it. So that's the plan anyway. It's an experiment. That's why I'm limiting it to just a small number just to see how everything goes. But I'm going to kind of facilitate it through Discord. I put a link to the Discord that I created in the description below. But anyway, so long story not so long. We'll talk more about it as we go. But I'm going to do some upgrades on this because that's what I do many times. I have a box of stuff. Let's see. So anyway, if you're interested in that, you can go on that Discord. That's where everything's going to be put through, the whole deal. Join in there if you like, and we can discuss more. There's a few questions and details, things like that I'll ask you. I've got a Fusion Pro, some brass front clamp rings. Of course, I've got wheels. So, do you need to own a 4 dice already? I mean, you'll just need to get one. That's the whole thing will be based around that, or at least you'll need a VS410 and then pick up a 4 dice body. The 4 dice bodies will be around, but it'd be best to have a 4 dice or plan on picking one up. You don't have to have anything yet. So wheels. This I picked up some black impacts, which is not normally the colors I go with, but I'm doing this similar to the Cletus McFarlane mullet in very little ways, here and there, and it'll maybe make more sense when it's done, or maybe it won't. So did you order that box, or is it a work box? It's a work box. Same thing. When I say I picked up, I mean I literally picked them up and then put them in this box. So, it's a little more of a literal than the figurative that it's usually used in. I can't show you all of this box, but we have some transmission upgrades in there as well. That's where a lot of my work is going to be focused. I also figuratively picked up servo options. I have Reef's Smart 900, and I also have a 888. I think I'm going to go with the Smart 900 because it will be more power than this, because this is only going to run 3S, and this has peak power at 4S. So I think I'm going to run that Smart 900 in there. That's why I think we should that stock just shopping the shelves. Yeah. But tonight's plan, just to work through some of these upgrades, have a little fun. I'm ramping back up to full energy as I had a glorious nap right when I walked in the door. 5:05 walked in the door. I was like, Set myself a 27-minute timer on my phone. Bam! Out. So good. I got iced coffee on my way home, and I didn't drink very much of it. Then I decided to do the nap. So I put it in the freezer, and it's still not... It had frozen at the top, but we're okay. We're good now, but we're get back up to full full steam ahead here. So, thanks for joining me. Jet Waves, thank you very much for the 5 pounds. Yes, pounds? Yes. Hi, Josh, from the UK. I received my VS410 Pro from you guys at Vanquish in 3 days to the UK. Thank you very much. You know, we've had like really fast shipping times to the UK. We generally ship FedEx to the UK, and FedEx has their own customs stuff there, so it doesn't go through the regular. And stuff just usually turns out to be pretty quick. So we're gonna build some tires, swap some rings, do some stuff like that. Matt is joining us. Hello, Matt. Most definitely, this will not have leaf springs. 3-day week. You're right. It is a 3-day weekend. It's gonna be glorious. I am gonna get so much work done. Don't tell Nicole. So today was kind of one of my first days back to feeling like basically 100%. So, you know, if not 100%, like 99%. So, but I overdid it a little bit, so my ankles are wrecked today from run. Don't think I sat down all day, which is not my normal style. If you wanted to shorten the length of the standard VFD trans, how would you do so? Brother Dust, if you must. The easiest way to do that is to take and shorten the top shaft by about 20 millimeters. You can get a little more even. You got to run a revolver, but by around 20 millimeters, and the easiest way to do it is to drill a new cross hole for the gear that goes on the inside, you know, that holds the top 23 tooth gear on the inside of the transmission. You just got to drill one hole, a 2 millimeter, 2.05 millimeter, depending on what you can find, and then just cut the shaft down to length. And like I said, you can run a little revolver, and that's all it takes. It is best if you have a drill press to drill that hole, but if you don't, you can take and grind a little bit of a flat spot on the shaft first, so that your drill bit isn't trying to walk around. But yeah, that would be how I would do it. That's how I've done it myself. Will the Fusion Pro fit in a VFD VS410 kits? Thought they were too long. Yep, no, it drops right in. That's what we're gonna do tonight. The standard Fusion is longer, and it can fit if you take the cap off, but that one's gonna drop right in there. And cut you will have to cut the posts down, whether they're aluminum or plastic. You will have to cut those down a little bit, but pretty easy to do. Doesn't really take any special tools. Little bit of patience, and if you screw up, the top shafts are pretty cheap. So, are you going to put Nittos on it? I absolutely should, for like accuracy, but at this point, no, I'm not going to. But actually, he doesn't run Nittos on that car, does he? Because he runs the radials, drag radials. Received my Ford Ice today. Super excited to get out and play with Sweet. Nice. Hope you enjoy it. It's a great truck. Better to overdrive at the transmission or at the axles? Kind of depends. As long as you're... I would rather underdrive at the axles to add more reduction. Or, you know, that. If you're overdriving, in the typical sense of the word, then you're likely taking gear reduction away at the axles. So in that case, I would rather do it at the transmission. Even though in the end, it still depends where you're doing it in the trans, but in your overall ratios. It's not an easy question to answer, but you know. He runs Mickey's, so that's what you need. Yeah. Well, I mean, I can't run. I won't run Mickey's. Baja Claws or something like. I can't do it. So you're building this and the budget build at the same time? Yes. This one will be gray. The budget build will be blue because Matt is using a. Matt's going to use a gray one for the budget build, so I'm going to use a blue one. That way, at least they're different. What's the strange new box in the corner? And if you looked, that is the 4-dice box. And yeah, so. But the any plans for a run of Pink Wheels? Man, October's coming up. We only do that in October. At this point, I haven't started that process, you know, and it would be something I would probably need to do. But I haven't got on that yet, you know. Will the new Canadian import laws affect VP as it did Holmes? Everything, yes, it will have effects. I'm currently working on it and trying to figure out the best course of action to be able to handle Canadian customers still. What the best way to do what and how to serve customers. And, you know, Holmes had made that post, and I think possibly that he read how that. So there's different levels of how they want you to, or how you can do things. But it's, I don't know. Again, until I learn all of it and talk to my my account agent on it, I don't know 100%, you know, enough to say, yes, it'll be okay. No, it will not be okay. So on and so forth. But I'm obviously going to do whatever I can to try and keep supporting Canadian customers. But, you know, if things get too difficult to do, then it's hard to say. We are going to be reusing the stock tires and foams for the moment because I forgot to grab foams. But, well, that's not totally true. I didn't forget, but they were in the other building and I had already put the gate down and turned the alarm on. So I was like, I'll do it later. It's a long time until I have to drive the truck. So, you know. Right. So this is going to be a front, so I do need to change out the inner ring. I grabbed some brass. So, inner clamp ring in there. Go. Looking nice. 8-pound truck with Falcon 465s. Will the 465 stance foams work well? Yeah, they still will work well. I mean, at 8 pounds, you are getting up there. You know, you could go to the 475 foam. It's a big 475 foam, but it's still pretty soft. But the 465 foam should still work just fine. it'll still give you a nice profile. I can't remember what tires and wheels did I put on the Hack-A-Lack. I had gold impacts on there, didn't I? I think I did. I should tell Brock to open those up. I think that I ran the new foams in there before. He might have the new foams in those tires, and I never told him that because they weren't released yet. Oh, so now I need a truck and a ton of skills. I don't. Brock, you'll have to open up your tires and wheels one day on the Hack-A-Lack and just see if that's what I included in there or not. Got to vent those eventually. We're going to run 350 hubs as always, but I did grab hubs this time because I'm running black. So last night, I've been working on the cage design for this truck project, and like I said, I'm making it like themed slightly after the mullet build from the Cletus McFarland channel. And it's a truck, so that's kind of it's gray, so that, you know, it's kind of there. And I'm not going to make it a drag truck and things like that. But I was like, there's enough things I can do to make it close or make it like inspired by. So the cage design I did in a similar funny car style, or, you know, 25-2 or whatever it is, cage design. So I got that done. And I did the bar placement based off of how the cage was done in his car. So that. Same with the bed. I did the bed design, how they did it in that car, in a similar way at least. And then, you know, I'll do a carbon fiber bed cover and those type of things to be able to make it all kind of play in line with it. But last night I sent off the laser cut files for all of that in so that I could get that whole thing rolling. And it's going to be a lot like how I learned to do it on the Hack-A-Lack project. I think it's going to work really well. And from there, I've got to get going on the 3D printed fixtures so I can get that part ready. But now that I've got the laser cut stuff going for the people that join the build along, I can share the laser cut files with them so they can get theirs on order right away as well. And they'll only be a day behind mine or so. Aardvar, explain, what's your favorite Usher song? Oh, that's so hard to choose. I grew up in peak Usher time. Oh God, it'd be really hard to. It'd be really hard to choose that. I feel like I have to give you an answer though, because you paid. I mean, the first Usher song I always think of is just 7 o'clock on the dot. I'm in my. That's just the first one I think of. So I have a hard time saying something different, but. Gunnar Nissen. Oh, hi, Gunnar. Hello, all. Off early to actually watch a Friday Night Live. Tonight's code, #Where's Nicole? Gunnar, I also have bad news, is because I did not get back to the office before your order was already picked up. So I was unable to accommodate the pickup for you. The Cisco video? Which was this? See, I don't remember the videos as much from back then. I listened to that 8701 CD a million times. Was it 8701, right? Came out on August 7th, 2001. The Thong Song. Oh, the Thong Song. I listened to that CD a lot as well. A lot. Brock, are you way behind in the chat? Someone tell Brock. He just said they are gold. I think he needs to like fast forward. Someone tell him. Can't recall. I love it though. Oh, it sounded so good in the, my Jeep back then. I had, even back then, always had to have a stereo. They are dual stage pre-release. Yes, bro. Is Brock talking about the phones? Yes, he is. I think he's just behind in the video and he needs to fast forward. Josh sent you an instant. Thank Matthew. I'll check it out after. Oh, thank you, Dana. I need to pin that. Gunner was, while I was talking about not being able to pick up his order, SatisfiedJerky.com. You can save 10% if you use the code hashtag Where's Nicole. Nicole obviously not in the room tonight, having a little bit of a flare up with her autoimmune stuff, so not feeling super hot, but she'll be back. I love interpretive twerking. Oh my God. So many good songs back then. All right. Listening to User in my buddy's truck on Friday nights, the good old day. Usher. Yes, listen to Usher. Oh, you should just drive. Nicole and I had put on, what were we watching? Oh, I'm not sure if you've seen them, depending on how much time you spend on YouTube. There's like the tons and tons of YouTube channels that are just like reaction channels to music videos, things like that. Anyway, and we had watched one on something, and then after that, it was this group of guys who had never seen or heard the Eminem Stan. Like, this was a year ago, and they'd never heard Stan by Eminem. And we were just talking about, like, man, I listened to that CD and Country Grammar and Usher over and over and over. Like, God. Big Timers. The Gator Boots. Country Grammar was about Country Grammar. I can't think of a better CD off the top. Like, I have never heard Stand by Eminem. Josh, if you haven't finalized the wheels to determine a budget path, how about this? The cost of a tank of gas in your daily driver is the budget for the week. Just so we have. I mean, I'd be way better off because I get way worse mileage than Matt does, and he doesn't drive anywhere. And that may be a much larger advantage to me than him. P.D. Pop. Oh man. So the P.D. Pablo CD, I remember that one because at the time I was in college when that came out, and it was our demo CD in the stereo shop. So it was like the one that was playing on, because we had like all the music videos as well. But so it was the one playing on all of the flip outs. You remember the stereo room? You used to go in there and hit the button and select which one you wanted to listen to and select what speakers you wanted it through. Why did I just take that freaking wheel off? I'm an idiot. This wheel. Gah. But I listened to that freaking Petey Pablo song so many times that I almost don't like it anymore. You put the stock foams back in. Yes, because I forgot to grab new foams. That is why. I knew that. We did talk about that one. Who knows Mike Jones' phone number off the top of their head? Who's first? It's Paul Waffle, baby. It's an Iceman. Crossroads, Bone Thugs. Dr. Sniff, a casual Brandon Herrera watcher. I don't watch as much Brandon Herrera as I do watch Donut. I watch Donut. I'm a Donut Patreon supporter. No diggity. But yeah, I don't know why. I've never really got into the how has nobody mentioned, Bombs Over Baghdad? Such a good one. Matt likes the way you work, Josh. No diggity. No doubt. Working. So, God, it's just... I remember one of the loudest systems I had at that age was in my 97 TJ, and I had a single 12 MTX Thunder single 12 in a sealed box with a Rockford Punch 65, which those amps were so insanely wildly underrated. But that Jeep with no top, it was just the freaking loudest. Wu-Tang forever. What series MTX? Oh God, it was MTX Thunder. I think it was a sealed box, so I definitely couldn't go crazy. It might have been like a 3000. Blue Thunder. Yeah, Blue Thunder, right? It was Blue Thunder. I think it was like a 3000. Did anyone say 2 Live Crew? No. Nobody said 2 Live Crew. At one point, I had an Audioban amp covered. Oh, I remember. I was not an Audioban fan, personally. Audioban, by the time I got into it, Audioban had kind of gone downhill. They had kind of gone to the cheap side, where they used to be like a high end, and yeah. Nelly so many times. Oh my God. Jeremiah thinks there. It felt so good getting my rig fixed. Also, I found a 3D print file that makes brackets that use Hot Wheels tracks as a shell. Oh, that's actually pretty cool. I like that idea. I have JL Audio and Boston Acoustics. Yeah, JL was... I went to JL later in life when I was able to afford a little bit more than what I... when I first got into it. It was always secondhand, buying it, from this guy, that guy, trading this one. Are we going to overlook Loot? Oh, God. Yeah. God, Ludacris. Those were some of the absolute best, too. How are we? Yeah. He's still one of my favorites. I still have an MTX 801D. Oh, I had a couple of MTX amps as well. Will Vanquish be making foams for the 1.9 Wild Peaks? We do. Oh, for the 419 Wild Peaks? Probably at some point. Pile from Radio Shack, the best. Oh, man. Yeah, Pile just came out. Not strong. They just came out. Who remembers the MTX Sledgehammer? Was that a 24-inch sub that they had? It was, or something huge like that. I think I do remember it. I remember it being at Nebraska Furniture Mart. They built it into a wall of like a, I don't remember what it was, Scion or something. Maybe it wasn't a Scion, but yeah, I have a JL 501 pushing a Kicker S12 L7. I remember when the L7s came out. I was like, dang. So now, like in my Jeep now, I've got a 1500.1, and it's pushing 2 Gately Relentless series, and they're these little 8s. Well, they're not little. They're 8s that weigh like 30 pounds each, and they're just like they're ridiculous. Okay, got the fronts on. Whoop, whoop. Vegas Strokers used to pop glass. The Strokers, they were the weirdest looking sub. That all spider looking thing. Indy Bama, good to see you, sir. I've got a Blackfoot CD player, Sony 1001 amp, and an MTX Terminator, 12-inch MTX Terminator. Here lately, I've been stuck listening to Muck, Sticky, Tom McDonald, and a little ICP. The ICP, I'm right there with you. Oh my god, I make no apologies for my ICP fandom. Anybody else had? I remember going to an Eclipse deck for a while, and it was like it was back when all of us had our detachable face, and the Eclipse was like, no, we don't do detachables. We do a key CD that nobody knows, and don't freaking lose it. And like, it was so weird. But it was a great stereo. So much tunability. But I do remember I ended up pulling it back out and I went to Alpine after that. I liked the Alpine. I went to pack my deck like a purse. Yeah, the pullouts. I never had a pullout. That was just before my time. Detachable face was pretty much like my era. I remember the pullout. Yeah, see, that was never. Eclipse made a fantastic head unit. It was great. I guess I don't really need to take that ring out. I just leave that in there. The clamp ring on the stock wheels here are the same as the new wheels, so I don't need to replace that. Just leave them in there. I never pulled out. Well, I don't really have to worry about that. No. Josh, you designed the bodies for the Phoenix and the Fordyce. Brandon designed the Phoenix body. The Fordyce body was done by an outside designer. What do you think of DD audio speak? Oh god, was it Dynamic Designs or something like that? Back at like when I was into it, DD was like basically only for comp stuff. There wasn't very many people that were digital designs. But there wasn't many people just casually driving around with DD speakers or subs. For me, Pioneer head unit design reference. The Pioneers were always my favorite for style. They always just They were so nice to use. Alpine was like my middle ground between the Pioneer style and the Eclipse, sound and tunability. But I remember when I was in the stereo business, the AVIC N1 came out, which was, their like first navigation, or not first, I'm sure, but like super popular flip out navigation system. Premiere from Pioneer. See, I never owned a Premiere. So the Premiere was like, I remember, like the 4000 was the normal, and then the Premiere was like the 400 or something like that, if I remember correct. But yeah, I never ran one of the Premieres. I was a broke ass college kid, making like $5.25 an hour plus commission, and I wasn't that great of a salesman. Clarion units. Oh, CD changer. See, I never did a CD changer. I had the DEX P1R $800 deck in '98. You remember how expensive decks were? Good Lord. What about Blancpain? I never had any Blancpain stuff. I've got a Jensen in my 84 steps. I love that stereo. You know what one of my favorites was? It was a, you missed a super chat, or I missed a super chat. Let me see. I did. Thank you, RC Underdog. RC Underdog, thank you. My cousin in high school had 4 JL12W7s, an extended cab 01 GMC. It was obnoxious to say the least. Love riding home with him in it if I missed the bus. The W7 was so crazy, like it was like a game changer. Even just how the sub mounted and the surround went around it and then had that ring to retain that. So nuts. But man, in that kind of car, you must either had a blow through or it was just 2 seats left. Krakow, I don't know that one, Ben. Dr. Snip Snip, thank you very much, Mr. Dandy, if you will. Back in my day, I worked at a stereo shop, and we held the national SPL record for 2 years. 18 15-inch subs and 9 amps. 1 amp per pair, 2 cat batteries, and 2 alternators. That was way back. That is pretty crazy. We, the stereo shop I worked at, we also had the SPL record for like 10 minutes. And it was SPL record in our class and all that, right? But I think we had 4 12-inch Memphis subs, and we had 16 Memphis 1000Ds. I think there were a 4 coil, and it was like 1 to each coil. Krakow was Pet Boys. But yeah, I remember we had 16 1000Ds. We had 12 16-volt batteries with these massive bus bars across. The whole truck was lined and then filled with concrete on the sides and the roof. We poured the dash. It was a little like Mazda B2000 or something like that. It was great plexiglass glass windows. Ridiculous. Gunner, my meat gets stickiness, and I did not notice that name change earlier. Old days for me was Zapco with PPI, Serwin Vega subs, kicker separates. My loudest was in my boat, 9,200 watts, 4,000 of which was going to 2 DD12s. That Zapco, that was way before me. PPI, I definitely remember. And Serwin Vega, of course, the Serwin Vega was, because Serwin Vega was the Strokers, right? That was who made Stroker subs? Art Blue, thank you very much. I have a Gray Phoenix and really enjoying it. What would be the next one to get? Fordyce or Falcon Portal? Thanks. I mean, for me, I'm going to... Since you've got a Gray Phoenix, you have a straight axle. So the Fordyce will be very similar, but it's still my favorite right now. The portal is nice to have portals though, you know. So like you don't have a portal truck would make sense, but still, I really love this truck. So I have a hard time not saying this. Yes, with the bolt sticking out. Yeah, I remember the stroke. It just was like a big spider with just that thing in the middle. So weird. It's nowadays like you drive around and it's rare to hear someone like pull up next to you with beat in their car. It's like, oh, what? Back then, it was just everywhere. It was everywhere. And then, of course, there was like the feuds between speaker shops in town. Like, oh, where'd you have yours? Like, oh, no, you went. No, you don't want to go to them. You got to go to Stereo West. You got to go to InPhase. You got to go to Stereo West or Hacks. You got to go over here. Yeah. JIA just hit 140 dB on 57 watts at 21 hertz. That's ridiculous. Is that sound quality stuff? Phoenix, Arizona was a hotbed of car audio back in the day. Well, yeah, because Rockford, like they had the Rockford Institute in Phoenix, right? I never was there, obviously, because I'm questioning it. But I mean, everyone was always like going down to school in Phoenix for audio to be a certified audio tech, and like, who doesn't love the sound of loose aluminum cans in their trunk? I mean, yeah, brings me back. That was a nice thing. Like, being that I was a Jeep person, I did not have nearly as loud a stereo as a lot of people, but you couldn't necessarily tell that because it was open air and it was just like everybody heard that stupid thing coming. The license plate rattle. Oh my! I was over at Gately yesterday, and Anthony's he's like a kind of shop foreman over there, and he's got a Navigator with, I think it's got 412s in it on something like 6,000 watts or whatever. And he was like, "Hey, do you have any big sticker?" I'm like, "Oh, what's that?" He's like, "I ripped the roof of my Navigator. Like, ripped the roof from the audio. What the hell? $1 per watt, so much cheaper now. Oh my god, it's insane. That I have a 1500.1 and in my Jeep, and it's like a $600 amp or something like that, and it's got a DSP. Like, yeah, it used to be $1 a watt. 1,000-watt amp, it's gonna cost you $1,000, which someone would have to type it into a inflation calculator. But I'm guessing 1,000 watts in 2001 is $1,600 now. Have you heard Steve Mead's truck? He does not look like. I have. The Escalade, the big horsepower Escalade. There we go. Hobby room. Good to see you again. I just got done dorking out over my trailer stereo. 16 speakers, 2 dual voice coil 10s, and 4,000 total watts. Now, it's a trailer stereo. So are those... How much is facing outward versus inward, and what kind of trailer? $1,726 in 2023 dollars. Yeah, his trailer has a brass pole in the middle. I'm there. It's all inside. Best demo songs? I do the. She's. I don't know that one. So, one thing that I've found is that being that I have 2 8s on 1500 watts, 8s just do not hit low frequency, of course, like a 10, 12, 15, whatever. So I have to pick my songs appropriately or differently. And I don't use many demos, so I just use the one I use now the most is Handsomer by Russ. Back in the day, everyone had to play the same song for comps, and it was the song from Flashdance, the movie. Katy Perry, Dark Horse. I'll have to listen to it. But yes, that Handsomer by Russ is like perfect in my Jeep. Just, it's good and loud. Vibrates the shit out of stuff. Gotta say, Russ is legit. I like Russ. I like Russ a lot. The remix is so good. I don't know that I know it. Okay. We got one tire left before we dive into the transmission. What's my phone doing? Why is it? Mace, back in good old the goggle days. That's all I can ever think of when I think of Mace is goggles, on the hat. But it's such a weird trend. You guys are making me feel like an old metalhead. Yeah, I was never. Before I was into rap more. It was kind of at the same time a little bit, but like, the Korn and Slipknot days those were a little bit before that for me. But still, that's not the same. That's as close to that side of things as, I don't even know if you call it that. I was into Mace before he turned into a Mace is a preacher? Thumps at every red light. Yes. DJ Magic Mike, great movie. Wait. Different. What are we talking about? Feel the bass. DJ Magic was my go-to for it. Huh. I don't remember that. Even if I used it then, I definitely don't remember it now. Isn't it wild now? Like, Nicole and I talk about it. So, Brandon, who, if you watched on the Vanquish stream, he had joined me on Tuesday for that live. But Brandon, my coworker, he lives about an hour away from my house. So he lives up in the hills outside of Sac, and Nicole and I will go up there and hang out. And on the way back home at night, it's just like Nicole and I's tradition, ritual, whatever, to on the way to drive home, we just old school to us 90s, 2000s hip hop generally. And it's just, we talk about it all the time, like, man, we can just type in any song we want and hit play. I use YouTube Music versus Spotify because I have YouTube Premium, so just type it in, hit play. And it's just like, we used to flipping through CD books, pull it out, or give your computer HIV by downloading LimeWire. You just it was such I could never imagine like how we have it now. It's like, oh yeah, let's type in that one. What's similar? Oh yeah, I remember this song. What's up from Duck Creek, Utah? Waiting for more rain. Some apple pie moonshine. My toxic sounds like a blast. I freaking love Utah. So still have a few CD books. Oh God, you remember? The worst situation ever. You go to a movie at the movie theater, and your car gets broken into, and your CD book gets stolen. And that was the most depressing thing ever to happen to you when you're 16 years old. Like, no, I had 100 CDs in there. I remember making mixed CDs. I think the program was Rhapsody. That's right. And it was like $8 to make a CD. I remember Rhapsody. Do a few rhymes for us. Nope. Watching Cletus this weekend. I had my CD book stolen. I was so pissed. Yeah, I do plan to watch. Of course, it's race weekend. It's Monza. It's Monza week in Formula One. So priorities. And I've got a barbecue on Sunday. So I may not catch the race exactly on time, but I'll be close. I'll definitely be watching it. That happened to me twice on a date. Duh, I remember. It was so... walking up, having your car broken into. Had it so many times in my life. Like, the last time was in 2017. I had 8 tracks. Who remembers getting 12 CDs for $1 or a penny? Who also remembers MTX Sledgehammer Hammer subwoofers? Oh, I remember that. What was that called? What was that thing called where you'd get the 12 CDs, have them sent to a place, and then BMG, right? BMG? Columbia House. Yep. Remember my brother did it. And I think he just he was, 12 and did it. And I don't know if maybe my parents paid for it afterwards or whatever, but I know he just sent it in himself. Did they try and go to collections with people? How did that whole thing work? I don't remember. All right, last wheel, and we're about to pull the transmission out. Get in there from there. What's my favorite RC car? Ooh, an RC question. Oh, that's a tough one. No. This one right here is my favorite currently. It's my VS410 Pro with custom cage on top, the Woods Runner project. It's not finished, but it's still my favorite. But if we have to go with finished, it's probably my Porsche that I built here. Super proud of how that thing came out. And this may be my, it's really close. But currently that one is the one I would say, but this is really, really close second. My buddy almost lost my CD book. He dropped it leaving my truck when I parked one night. Luckily, a neighbor saw it on the ground and gave it to me the next day. Oh. Whew. I remember loaning CDs to people. They're like, no, Nikki's got my my 3-6 Mafia CD. I need to get it back from her. Borrowing CDs. Getting your CDs back if you're going to break up with somebody. Can I get that CD back? Why? No reason. No reason. Did Nicole check in? Where is she at? I don't see her. Everyone's saying hi to Nicole. I don't see her. Sipping on some scissors. What was the... 3-6 had... what was the... They had one about spinners. I probably called spinners. I don't even remember. But burning CDs was the best ever. Yeah, that was like... That was right after that. Still doing COD. COD is still a thing. What? Who remembers COD? I had to explain to my son, actually... Cash on delivery. I was like actual COD. I was like, Call of Duty? Like... Did you burn a love CD for Nicole? No. See, the problem is that my musical taste stopped then. And now I like listen to very little music. So it'd just be that. And Nicole's musical taste and mine, not always the same. Because I also have like ridiculous songs. Riding Spinners, that's what it was called. Riding Spinners. I loved Spinners. I wish Spinners would come back. I know they're hard to find now and they like bring big money, but I wish they'd come back. Spinners were sick. Napster, yep. I had Napster before it got shut down. Then had, LimeWire. Then, then it was the torrents, Pirate Bay, all that. Back in those days, the internet was a little bit harder to find certain things where LimeWire opened up your adolescent mind, all kinds of things you could download back then. You just had a gun to your computer's head at all times. Like, you're gonna die at some point, sometime real soon. Put some 22-inch blades on the Gladdy. Yes. I love spinners. Just design them and have the machine at the shop. Jeep on spinners. My poor taste and everyone else's opinions of it may only increase at that. Okay, so we can put this somewhere over the rainbow. It's getting hot in here. Another great song. I remember going knowing the date of a CD release, and I remember the Nelly Sweatsuit was coming out. If you remember, Sweatsuit it was a 2 CD release, which was a big deal. And I remember I waited until midnight and then went to Walmart and got it. I was like, yeah. And I remember start listening to it and all that. And that is when I learned specifically that Walmart only sells edited CDs. So I had to go re-buy it in the morning at Borders Bookstore. And that was the last time I ever bought a CD at Walmart. Borders is a real one. Yeah. So we had Borders for the bookstore, and we had where's my snippers? Oh, there. We had Sam Goody at the mall. So those were the two go-tos. But there was a Borders right on my way to college, so I could slam in there, get the CD, and have to go in the mall. Let's see. I spent a lot of time in Sam Goody. Sam Goody and FYE. I don't know FYE. I don't think we had that. Tower Records. No, we definitely didn't have that. How did this live get so far off the rails already? This is pretty much on the rails for a Friday. I mean, we're working on this. I can only explain how I'm assembling wheels for so long before I have to just be like, you know. So we're going to pull this transmission out. You can hear the speed difference between the full battery and the... Is that... Oops. Come on. You have two? What the? Yeah. One is red and one is blue. Just like my drivers, I have one that's blue and one that's red. And so this is the 2.5 and this is the 2.0. That way I don't have to change bits back and forth. So much work. Go. FIU is a music store for your entertainment. Ooh, let's talk traffic. What bits did you use to drill? These are Traxxas brand. They come in this little thing, and it's a super nice set. I really enjoy it. It's 1.5, 2, 2.5, but then there's also a 2.0 ball end, a 2.5 ball end, 3 and 3.0 ball end, with as well as some nut drivers. I really only use the tips, but I just really like this one. I also have the MIP speed tips here, but the Traxxas ones are, I really like them. So they're the ones that I usually, well, that I have not opened my MIPs. I've not found a reason to. I used to think 2 power drivers was too much. Now I have 2. I think I need 3. Once you do it, you're just like, oh, I need this. I'm just saying, you want like a little bit of a quality of life change for yourself? Some nice speed tips and 2 drivers. Oh, you'll thank me later. You'll be like, that's ridiculous. Well, do it. Oh. Just saying. Okay, transmission time. So, the upgrades I have for the transmission are, you can't see everything in here. I've got the aluminum motor plate. I've got the lightweight transfer case gear set, aluminum posts, the lightweight front gear set, and I also grabbed a VFD dig. And I'm not 100% sure. Oh, I do have drive shafts as well. We're going to use those. But I need to think on the VFD dig. So I think I think I can make it work. As like I was saying, I've done the design on a lot of the truck already. But I had a plan for the battery side of things, and a VFD dig servo, a standard servo, would cause me a little bit of issue for what my plan is. But I also have one of the Reefs. I have the raw 100. I've got some of the smaller, like the 100 might be too small, but I've got like the 400, the little one. 400's overkill, but still, I don't know. I'm on the fence currently. Where the hell did I put my 2.0 driver? It's wild frustrating. I bet Nicole took it. This is unfortunate. What would I have done with it? Like, I wouldn't use this for this. Check your other drill. No, not like the regular driver, not the. Alrighty, let's dive into this beast. So we is that the fabled VFD? It is a VFD. The standard VFD here. Oh, we do need that spacer and that bearing. So grab those. And we slide, oh, I can't just slide those off. We're gonna have to change the tip. I oftentimes do not run the shrouds, but lightweight motor plate we're out of stock of currently. Otherwise I would have ran the lightweight motor plate, but yes, otherwise that would have been my choice. However, I wanted to just get this built. So, not a big deal. Ideally, my goal for this build, is to have it to a point where it's reasonable to bring to Proline by the Fire. So, cage and all that. Where is, there it is. Now I really do need, Mallrats was great. You know, one of my other favorites was Empire Records. Make sure nothing else. Nope, all good. So, motor. Let's grab our standoffs. Who was the blonde in Empire Records? I can't. Is it Liv Tyler, the other one in there? I had, like, Liv Tyler was great, but, like, the blonde in there was she had, like, the raspy voice. She was the real one. was Renee Zellweger? You're right. Man. How much of an influence did you personally have in designing the Fordyce? I mean, we all have our input, so you know, it, we all get to see and talk and decide on everything. So I mean, just as much as anybody else, I would imagine. Granted, a lot of the parts are just like came, but like we, speccing it how it was, like this was definitely my preference on parts list for sure. Which is part of why it's my favorite. And style-wise, of course, since I built Willie Styles trucks before that I really like. What's the weight difference between the two motor plates? I think we have it on the website, but I don't recall it off the top of my head. I mean, it's not a ton, but it's a little bit. Stainless hardware looks so good in the trans. Just saying, I actually prefer the black in this, just to kind of, but I could see it. I could see it looking good. I think I stay with the black. Okay, so we got that. I might as well just break it down this way rather than taking the back half. The wheelbase the same as the Phoenix? Yes. Yes, same there. Josh, when's the donk build coming? I want to see it bad. Started donk. Yeah, I mean, I'm probably not going to see it from me until Red Cat releases that Caprice or something. I mean, the Regal would do, but I want to see what they're going to release first. Joey Lauren Adams, not Renee Zellweger. Okay, I was like, I didn't feel like I remember it being her, but I'm definitely very familiar to her. Back half of the trans out. I just have to decide whether or not I'm going to build this with the dig. I love dig so much that I feel like I need to. Hey Josh, say hi to C-Nub's daughter, Charlotte, who is on. Charlotte, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in with all of us. Letting it be some form of entertainment for the night to you. There are two blondes in Empire Records. Renee sang the song at the end. Oh, okay. So it is. I think it was Renee then I was thinking of. Shoot. Is that a DeWalt driver? Yep, it is the DeWalt. It is the 8-volt Gyro Max with the clutch. Make sure you get the clutch version. The non-clutched one looks similar, and it may be appealing, but don't do it. Get the clutch. So we're going to pull out all of these gears. That shaft can go as well because the lightweight one has that built in. That background looks nice. Thanks. It's been a fun update. Oh, we need to pull the bearing plate out too. Don't need that. So we just pull this whole trans apart, really. Your standoff will be upside down on the passenger side when viewed from the... Yeah, I know. I could flip it around, but it'll also be blocked by the front side of the shroud. So, you know. It's a give and take there. I've been torn on that lasering since we did it the first time. I'm just like, I don't know what side. VFD twin lightweight gear set coming. Not really, because the trans case, you can't really do lightweight. But you can do the front portion lightweight gears like this in the twin already. So you're already most of the way there. I don't like your videos, but nice background. Thanks, Matt. Okay, pull out the front gear set. Pull that out, and front gear set. It's the lightened VFD gears, so save like 2 ounces total with both gear sets. Quite substantial. Are you ever going to give us an aluminum trans housing? I don't know. I mean, it's a possibility, but it's just so unneeded in these. But like, I mean, I don't know. So, just jumped in. Purling by the Fire build? Yeah, that is, for the most part, the intention with it. This is the build, though, that I'm going to be doing. The build along with is my intention with this. So, the design of the chassis that I'm doing and all of the laser cut parts, all of the 3D printable fixtures that I use to be able to build the tube chassis stuff so accurately. It really makes things so easy in comparison. I'm going to be like sharing those files with 6 people total. So that's how many spots I opened up. So I'm going to allow 6 people who can join in. I'll share all the files with them. They can build alongside. They can order the same. They can order the same laser cut files, the whole deal, and just try and build the same truck. So for that, I started a Discord server, which is linked in the description. So if you want to join, the build along, all the details are in there. You can see all the information, how I'm organizing it and whatnot. So if you're interested, go check that out. Yeah, but that's what this build's going to be. I want to have a portion of it ready to go, done by Proline by the Fire. Cage, assembled, running, the whole deal. But then, you know, there will be more that will likely need to be done afterwards. Can you design a diesel motor for the servo cover? I can. It is one of my plans. I was hoping to get it done while I was kind of out of commission these last... how are you picking the 6 people? The 6 people they pick themselves. But I say it's something that I'm charging for it, and and it's just there's 6 people that I'll have join in with me. But all that info is on the Discord. And it's just whoever wants to join, and who reasonably thinks that they'd be able to go along with. So I think I have one of them down, but I don't know if his payment has come through yet. I have not seen it yet, so not yet technically. Take my money. Go check out that link, Casey Crawler. See all of it there. Just tuned in on a busy day, but the 2 smoked pork shoulders have made it. Oh, now I am highly jealous. Oh, pulled pork. now I want pulled pork so bad. Good thing we didn't schedule a budget build. Don't worry about it, Matt. We can make it happen. Budget builds are easy, remember? Pulled pork sounds... I know. I'm highly jealous at the moment. I wish I had 48 hours in a day. Oh, God. I agree. I'd pay so much money for that. So, the lightweight transfer case gear set is also a 21% overdrive gear set. So, it comes with aluminum bearing plate upgrades as well, which is a nice strength bonus. And I love the 21% overdrive. So, like, it's just all of the things that I like. Now, the lightweight gear set are not going to be as strong as the full weight because these are lighter, and that's just the facts of it. But I'm going to put the Fusion Pro in here, which is not what I would call like a high horsepower motor. So I'm not concerned about that part of it. Slow down there, egghead. 21%? Come on, go 46. I mean, depending on what I do for the rear end side, I could end up with more overdrive still, but at this point, I am not required. So we got to put the pin in there. And now is the part where I need to decide, am I doing VFD dig? I have the machine gears in the Phoenix, but plastic bearing plates won't go over 3S likely. Should I worry about my gears? I mean, not if you have the machine gears. You really shouldn't. I don't think you'll have to worry. If you haven't noticed, I think we're going to do the dig. Yeah. So, that's this one. This goes this way. Gear there. Oh shit! Will this work? Are these? Yeah. Okay, we're good. I couldn't remember because with the VFD dig, you flip one of the gears normally. And I was like, oh, no. But no, works just fine. Live research and development happening here. You're all welcome. Are you selling this one before you play with it too? No, Fish Built, I'm not. I am keeping this one forever and ever. For the cage, you're gonna use DOM tube or solid rod. I'll use DOM on this. I rarely use solid rod, and I made all of the bend concessions in the design to be made for DOM. So that's I've used solid rod in certain situations, but only when I'm either feeling lazy. It's almost always when I'm feeling lazy. For like anything that I would consider like a build that I in the end plan on being very proud of or very attached to, I would always use DOM or titanium. I guess it could be solid, but titanium, and then I'm okay with it again. So I'm a massive hypocrite in that way. There you go. So drop a little bit of Loctite on that pin. Drop it through. Drop it through. Hey, Logan. Just relaxing with Atlas before he goes to bed. Order my 4 dice today. Yeah, congratulations. Here we go. Good to go there. Other bearing plate. Need to snag the bearings though. Whoops. I put that part on before I put the other part on, which I needed to do in the other order. I'm too good for instructions though. And I needed to put that bearing in there. It's been a minute since I installed one of these. I've got it in my VS410 Pro, but I haven't had to take it apart since I built it. So it's just not paying a bit of attention to it. Oh, that's right. Brandon put the slots on both sides of this gear just because of it. I remember when we had that conversation the first time. There's that. I think I've been running these gears for like 2 years at this point. So the 4 dice comes with aluminum bearing retainers? No, the bearing plates in the 4 dice are molded. This aluminum set comes with the lightweight gear set because it's a 21% overdrive. I did not line that up very well. You should take it all apart or whack it with the tiny hammer. Go all lined up. Tiny hammer. A little bit tiny hammer. What? No praise that I made sure the lightweight gears work with the dig as well? I enjoyed your surprise R&D. Thank you, Brandon. Good thinking to make sure that all worked. Because I went, oh shit. Nope. It's taken care of. Congratulations. I did not expect you to be in here to discover what I should have already known. I'm glad I brought it up when we were in the design phase. Okay, so adding the OD, we'll put the drive dog back on since I needed to unforget to put that there. Excited to get my 4 dice and immediately taken apart to swap transmission gears. Lightweight this, overdrive that, all of the features, functions, and fun. So that will, for the 3rd time, take this off because it's got to go on after I put the rear case on. Like I said, I haven't had to work on the VFD Dig in so long because I've never taken it apart on my Pro. It's just been running in there for 4 years. Now you got a seat. Get in your home. Oh. Gotta be quicker than that. Grease all over my fingers. Definitely need to get better at CAD so I can attempt to build some. Wait, what? I really liked your jigs as you have. I have trouble making two pieces exactly the same. Is a big tolerance difference between DOM and. Is it a big tolerance difference between DOM and titanium? Tolerance wise, no. No, it's pretty easily to. Oh, that pin is not seating. That's why it wouldn't close. Or it's not. It had popped out. There it is. So, but after that, it's pretty straightforward. Will you get on there? Why does that keep doing that? Today I finished up my 1.9 Wraith with Basecamp drivetrain. It should be a fun. The 1.9 Wraith. Such an underappreciated setup. What have I got going on here? I just can't get that bearing. Oh, of course I push it through. Pretty sure that was my fault. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Nothing wrong here. I definitely just marred up that bearing a little bit. It's fine. It's a live video is why it happened. Broke the housing. Oh, and the beef on what? I'm popping that off. It's this one that I got the bearing on a little bit inappropriately. Also grab some VP HD rod ends, likely get those in the C2 for F10 portals. Yeah, it helps. The beefy rod ends are a nice little, they're beefy, more rigid, I guess would be the correct term. They're the same design. 728 eyes watching, no pressure. You can't assume that everyone has both their eyes. You have to assume that out of all those people, at least one person over the course of their life has, you know, had something cause it. Did you just assume? All right, so let's pop that bearing off real quick. After I had just decided I was gonna tap it on there. Some have a third eye. Oh, that's right. We can't forget about that. Let's see. What's gonna be the easiest method here? Easiest method is to drop it on the floor. Did a Wraith build up with copper body panels? I'm blind in one eye and can't see in the other. See? That's exactly. You can't. See, I need 3 hands on the other case. We got it. I'm going to replace that bearing since I most definitely marred it when I decided to just tap it in place the first time, which was probably a terrible decision. Oh, still spins perfectly smooth. Next tool Josh gets, 30-ton choppers. Definitely have some extra fibers on the gear now. Delivering 4 bodies for ASD next weekend. If you need anything, let me know. Ooh, I will keep that in mind, Joe. Off the top of my head, I cannot remember anything that I need. That's likely incorrect. Okay, I need to pull that bearing out. Oh, did I put a little burr on that shaft, didn't I? I'm a hack. I'm a hack for live videos. Oh, I can, yeah, feel it on there. Look away. Spins perfect now. Perfect. We have fixed everything. You can ignore everything that I've done incorrectly. We're going to reassemble this now for the 4th time. Get all that gear grease in there. And I'm missing one bearing. Oh no, I'm not. It's on there still. There we go. Josh isn't using a hammer or something sharp. We can really call it a build. Definitely not live. I mean, wouldn't be a live build if I wasn't just trying to force something in place. Get that gear pin in place? Yes.
Is thing 2 in here?
No?
God, it's hot in here.
It is very hot in here.
Shit, I don't know. Is it open for a minute?
Yeah, leave that open. Oh, did I forget that screw? I don't think so. It's probably okay. Yeah, I don't see the flathead. Wait, does this go on yet? No. So, now we need to put this back on. Wreck-It Ralph, where do you get 3/16 DOM tubing? I buy it from a place called Stock Car Steel. I believe that Scale Metal Supplies also sells it. So you can try them, scalemetalsupplies.com. Everything looks good there. This doesn't go on after the fact, does it? No. Yes? No. Wait. Hi, Bubba. What's up, Chief? He's here now. No, he wasn't. He just walked in.
No, he was in there.
He was not. What? You're such a pain in the butt. He's going to try and jump up here right now, which is going to be the worst case scenario. Come here. Come on. Come here. Are you satisfied? You'll stop yelling? You're going to make everyone's dogs go nuts. So how much are the parts for the build going to cost? So I sent in my laser cut stuff yesterday, and that was about $100. And then the tubing you'll need past that is, I don't know, it shouldn't be, the tubing cost shouldn't be crazy. But that's really like the main cost, other than 3D printing stuff, which shouldn't be crazy. Everyone's definition of crazy and not crazy is different. I understand, but you know, I think that I don't think that the cost of the, other than you will need a Fordyce. So that part of it is the cost, I guess. $100 if you're getting that stuff. $100? Are you getting that stuff gold plated? No, but there's a lot of parts. I got all the parts are in there, dude. You're going to drive everyone else's animals nuts. Okay. Mike, I watch this channel. I think your definition of crazy is on point. Well, that's good, because others can definitely disagree with what my definition of crazy is or is not at time. I put 3K into a Rift. Okay, that is crazy. I will totally agree. Let's see. I just need to snap this carrier down into place, which I'm having a hard time with. I don't know why. I don't know. That is one thing I can do. It's screw a plate. Is that on there? Yes. No. Yes. Bigger hammer, right? He's in here kicking my scanner box. Wait a minute, I thought you worked for this. I know, but I'm like, definitely having a time. There we go. What's up, Doc? Are you still here? I'm still here. Everything's going better now. I just have got grease all over everything. License and registration right now. Come on then. This cat. Okay. I feel like we're in good shape. Little whack, little whack. Little whack. If you ever notice, there's a little spacer standoff that comes with it. The leopard is back. That. That one goes there. You, what? You don't hammer it in? This gear drops on here. sure these are all in place. So much grease. Why did I put so many hammers? What mini hammer brand is that? It is Harbor Freight, and I've had it for like 15 years, and it's for RC, it's the perfect amount of persuasion. It's brass, it's non-marring. There we go. Seated. Whack! Precision fit right there. Whack! Like a Ferrari. Okay, now we just need to get the rest of the parts. The rear assembly, lucky for me, is already assembled. So this goes there to there, and the long screw Fun fact, Nicole calls Josh her tiny hammer. Does it have a plastic or Delrin side to it? It does come with a plastic side as well, but I lost that probably 14 of the 15 years ago, and it was never the side I was after. So I have the brass side on one side and the ball peen on the other side, which has also been used a lot over the years. So everything is spinning smoothly, functioning correctly. Didn't we learn that Nicole's nickname was Snips, or was that Nicole's nickname was Snips? That is correct. I think my nickname for a very long time was New Josh. Alrighty. Yay. Alright, all the fun has been had. We can now put our... Oh, we gotta put the top shaft bearing back in. Can't forget that one. I have lost it though. What do you suppose that I did with that bearing? Yours is now new Snips. I'll allow it. I'll allow it. What did I do with the bearing? Did I drop it? I guess I could just grab a new one. Oh my god, it's so much nicer now that Nicole opened the door in here. Man, how did I lose a bearing? Oh, I might have used it to replace the one I foobarred, but I think I ended up reusing that because it wasn't that bad. Oh, it's right there. It's still in the transmission, and I used the other one to replace it when I was assembling. Yes, I do. Here you go.
So sick of this stupid
Here you go.
thing. No, give it. Thank you.
Tried to get Nicole to walk in here. She wasn't doing it. Chief is demanding the temp gun. Oh, the laser gun comes out. Exactly. That. Still missing a screw now. Those are the motor plate screws. I'm probably missing 2 screws technically. Oh, because they're in this still. Shoot. VFD is looking spicy or yeah. Everyone watch the side of Josh's hat for the red dot. So I replaced that already. I need to put one down here. And what was the other one for? What was I missing the last one of? Right there. There we go. Spacer on for the top shaft. Pin on for the eliminator. Spur gear back on. Hit the like. Yes, hit the like button if you're watching. But we have built our... We got a aluminum motor plate, aluminum posts. We've got the lightweight gears inside, both the front section and the transfer case, as well as the VFD dig. So we've got a spicy meatball. F10,000s basically have a late model Pro. Yeah, pretty much. But you know, I don't know that the F10Ts are what need to go under this truck. I'll replace the axles, but not with F10Ts. Okay. Throw in our Fusion. Technically Fusion Pro 2300. When do we get a kit version? At this time, there is no kit version planned. Okay. Technically, I should have put this in before the posts were tightened down. I'm not just going to force it, because I'm not a Neanderthal. I would never just hammer something into place. That would be ridiculous. But it does fit in there. You got 2 millimeters of clearance probably. So, hammer time. Again, if you were going with like something crazy powerful for the motor, like a Polar Pro or something like that, I wouldn't use the lightweight gears. I'm using this motor because, like I said, 2300 on 3S, you're getting slow in your old age. I agree. Because 2700 on 4S is kind of like my preference. And there may come a time when we do get an all-in-one that is capable of that. And it might be soon. But until then, I've got so spoiled with how freaking convenient it is to not have to build a place for a big ESC into a car that I keep just going back to them for the convenience factor. And that's purely what this is right now. But until we get that version from Holmes or somebody, I'm gonna live with this. But again, being that I'm gonna put a fancy cage on it and all that kind of stuff, the performance of this, yes, it'll be slow but smooth, so I'll allow it for now. I know they're super convenient, but also they do work very well. They do work very well. They're just, I wish that they were more powerful. I really do. So, like, it's my only complaint with them is that they're just a little gutless, but smooth. Like, they feel like a good brushed motor, like as far as power goes. So that's really about where I feel they are. Is they're like a really good brushed motor. So, what I would really like is one that was smooth like this, but with the power of a brushless motor. Yeah. A little tight. A little spicy. Again, I don't know where my 2mm driver is. I would never normally set my gear mesh like that, but ooh, that feels good. We nailed it. Just enough. It's got the perfect amount of, like, you can just feel it. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. So, got that all on there. We can figure out how to do that. I'll talk a little bit about what my whole like battery situation, the whole design is with this. So can't show you anything else in there. I have drive shafts to install. Let's throw our parts in here. We can throw those away. Actually, why am I... I don't need to keep any of this. I can just throw this all away. So, with a good brushless motor, there's no need for 2-speed. I fully agree. I fully subscribe to that as well. What kind of yak you sipping on? A blonde bean roast. Someone's gonna get by. Did that hurt anyone else's soul when he threw in those parts? No. So, let's put on some drive shafts. we do have, we don't need this. We don't need that. Posts we don't need. Now, the question of whether I run a gear cover or not is the other one. We'll see. We shall see. So, we've got our drive shafts. I don't really need to upgrade the drive shafts. The plastic ones work so well and they're quiet, but like it's just a little piece of, I don't know. It's a little piece of mind, I guess. So, you know, what side your male and female drive shaft goes on really doesn't matter. But I always do the same method for mine, where as it goes from front to back, it goes female on the front side and then male on the towards the rear. And that's just because like as it's going over a rock, it doesn't have the hard lip to grab, even though I don't know that I've ever grabbed the lip of a drive shaft. But that's always been my thought process, and I've always hooked up my drive shafts that way. And I don't feel like I'm gonna change now. We are gonna put a little bit of that on there, some sass. I really need to find that 2mm driver. This is getting ridiculous. I'm not going to throw away the drive shafts, don't worry. Plastic drive shafts, I absolutely keep. One day. I've used so many take-off drive shafts in other projects. Is the Capra 4-wheel steer still a good choice? Yes, it is a good choice. I like my Capra 4-wheel steer. Granted, I replaced most everything in it, but 32 pitch, 52 tooth spur, what pinion? What car? Or what axles, I should say. Like, in one of these? Because this is a 56 tooth in here. And I've got a 13 tooth pinion. So, but yeah. The Capra, yeah, swapping to a 3-gear trans is a must in my book for that car to be a great one. But after that, I really enjoyed my Capra. The 4-wheel steer was a lot of fun. Any chance of adding links in the description after the show of the products you installed this evening? I absolutely should do something like that. I don't know if they'll go in the link of this one. Gotta figure out. I'll definitely be covering it in the video that I do of this truck, but that's a little ways out. If I put it in the link of this video, like the live chat can go away. Maybe they fix that, but oftentimes if you go back and edit a description, it deletes the live chat for the replay. And I feel like that's kind of nice for people who like to go back and watch them. You should make yourself an affiliate link for the VP parts. Nah. I don't feel like I need that. But if you do have any questions on what I did use, you can always message me. I'm usually pretty good about getting back. Instagram's the easiest for me. I'm taking off the battery tray, because I'm not going to be using that, and it's going to be in the area of the things that I need. I do need a servo mount for the dig, but I kind of talked about that earlier, and you know, we'll get to it. So I'm going to hook up one drive shaft, two drive shaft, there we go. Okay, that's in place there. Oh, we do, with the Fusion Pro, we do want to shave that link mount just a hair, but let's put the drive shaft pins in first. Did you and Matt actually explain the goal of the budget build? I mean, we probably will in the videos, but we haven't as of yet. I mean, I feel like the goal is the goal of, engage that rear before it will spin the drive shaft. There you go. So that's in there. Also, pull out this servo mount. For those that don't know, this servo mount got installed and it wasn't needed, shouldn't, like, it'll come out in the future. It won't be included, but for now it is. So anyway, I need to shave that link mount like a millimeter or two to clear Fusion Pro. Josh, did you phase the drive shafts to stun? I did. I did. Was that enough? Did we get it? I think we could do a little more just for funsies. I'm having such an easy time cutting through this because this razor blade is so sharp still. Because I changed it in July, I think, so it's still pretty good. Flying Pygmy Hippo, awesome name. Consider it a Woods Runner style build, but I'm worried the roll cage interior, etc., will make it too top heavy. Is a high CHG an issue with your Woods? I mean, in general, a caged build is gonna be a higher center of gravity, worse performing build. So like, if your concern is that type of thing, then yeah, it's absolutely a thing. I enjoy tubed builds for totally different reasons. You know, I like the fabrication, I like the style. I think that they look infinitely better than a 3D printed cage or just a Lexan body on top of something. So it's absolutely a trade-off. But I've never seen a, you know, slammed Lexan body on top of a flat rail that I was just like, yeah, that is a super cool, you know, it's like I can appreciate them for their style, but I can appreciate them for their performance and the style that's modeled after the performance. But in comparison to something that's like fabricated, infinitely cooler. Infinitely cooler. You can only slam a Power Wagon body on top of some carbon fiber so many times and think that it's still cool in style. It's not. It's just cool in performance. And I do love performance as well. I just keep shaving until I see daylight, and it's good enough. Indy Bama as well. New budget build rule. Josh is only allowed to use energy parts upgrade. Never will agree. No, you're fired. Never again. No. That might as well. I still have the cover on there for now, so there we go. So, oh, the one thing that I need to find is what I did with that last, the flathead for the skid plate. That's got to be rolling around here somewhere. That was the first screw I took off, so shouldn't surprise anyone that it's the first one I lost. Oh, there it is. Haha, success. There's the other screws that I needed too. They're right there. All right. Kicking ass and taking names. Oh, that's such a good looking transmission in there. We got some extra long hobby wing length wires going on here. But now we need to swap out that steering servo. Stock servo, 200 ounce inches. It's nothing impressive. Gets the job done, but that's all you're gonna say about it. I haven't broken it, a stock one at least. But you know what is more than 200 is 900. So we're going to install 900 in it. Our group of friends keeps trying to convince Thomas at Fab 801 to make mini lizards, but he is an MOA guy and has no interest in scale. Yeah, that's, you know, and that goes way back. Always just scale guys. Always never got the same appreciation from the comp side. It took me a while to transition over as well. What brand name is on the stock servo? Vanquish is the brand name that's on the stock servo. So, ooh, do I have a clamping servo horn here? Do I have the hardware for these, though? I have my Blem bag of servo horns. So, these are all laser Blems. Did I miss the explanation of the red, blue DeWalt drivers? Ben, you don't know it? So blue is the 2.5. Red is the 2.0. Exactly. So yeah. These are all, so like you can see how the lasering on this one is too high? So couldn't sell that, so I have a big old bag of them. But the hardware for this is out in the garage. Fart. I'm gonna not install the good servo horn because I'll forget that I don't have hardware in it, and lasering is too high. Total trash. Not trash, but that's why I keep it. It's for me. Instead, then, some of them have been lasered twice, and that's a problem. No, Josh, the hardware's in the trash can. Different hardware. Different hardware, sir. Okay. So, do that. I'm just going to throw this servo horn on there. I don't need to worry about needing this right now. Going to buy the fire. What should a newbie bring that is essential? Already have a good sun hat, mobile battery charging. That's it. There's literally nothing else you need to remember, Logan. Depending on like where you're staying. Where you're staying, are you a camper type? Because if that's the case, I am no help to you. I have zero ability to give proper Where is my servo tester? I mean, I guess I'm planning on changing it out anyway. Oh, I found it. Yeah. Oh yeah, bring bug spray. Or not bug spray, chapstick. Same. Bug spray, chapstick. You know, easily confused. There's that. Let's grab a battery. Battery in here. Feels like it. Both are edible. Servo test. There's our center. This goes this way. There we go. And there we go. Drop that servo in. So, new servo. Now, I haven't sorted out the dig servo situation yet, but we'll discuss that here in a second. Holy hell, how many Irish twins? Oh, you're talking about indie band. Where did that post go? Hold on a second. Yeah. Where did he go? Indie Bama says, I've got 7 kids ranging from 16 to 11. 3 boys. Teenage Ninja Turtles always 7 kids from 16 to 11. That's 5 years. 5 times 12, 60. 60 divided by 7 is that doesn't, the math doesn't even work. Like, so it has to be between 5 and 6. Like, and I'm pretty sure there's like a 6-week waiting period. Like, I mean, couple of twins. That would help. That would help the average. Suggested. A 6-week suggested waiting period. Give that poor lady a break. Josh, can you recommend him to your doctor? I don't know if we could keep him still that long, it sounds like. And his wife hasn't walked in years. Talk about efficiency. I am a doctor, and 3 weeks is plenty. Yeah. Indie Bama came and hung out with us in Alabama, and oh, we had a blast. It was a good time. And that was Scale Nats in 22. Yeah, so much fun. Somebody needs a TV in their bedroom. Oh my god. Friend had twins for their first pregnancy, found out that they were pregnant again 2 years after, and twins again. Good Lord. 2 years, 4 kids. Boom. Josh just moved to the Bay Area. Where do I crawl? So I don't know the Bay Area as well. I've crawled there a little bit at Mount Diablo, which I think is a super popular one, and the other one is well, it's not the Bay Area, it's south, but it was Pelican Point, Parachute Point, something. There's a lighthouse there, and it was down by Bodega Bay, I think. But like I said, that's further down. But like, I'm not as familiar with the Bay Area to really give you some good recommendations. But if you're ever up this way, I've got lots of spots for you. Pigeon Bay. Bodega is North Bay. Pigeon. So this was south of Bodega Bay. Pigeon Point. Yeah, that sounds right. All right. 900 Smart is installed. That's in there, that's in there. So, do I have my heat gun in here? Yes. Well, let's not go from about there. Doesn't want to stay. I need an extra hand. There we go. Just wedge it. Go. So 1 to steer, 2 to clear. That zip tied there, be out of the way. Do I have zip ties on the bench? No. Now I didn't put a winch servo in here. I don't think I'm planning on it. At this point, at least. Pelican point, pigeon point, papaya point. If we're talking papaya, I'm thinking McLaren. Gold jacket, green jacket, who gives a shit? So, I don't know how picky some of you guys are on pliers. I've never, like, I can't say that I ever was super picky on pliers until more and more recently. I've got some nice, like, Mac pliers now here and there. I'd always used just cheap, crappy pliers, especially needle nose, things like that in the past. But I'm not normally one to say, but I picked up some of these, like the nicer, these are the nice brand Harbor Freight ones. Doyle. Actually really freaking nice. Knipex is hands down my favorite. And I've got some nice Knipex at work, and I try and buy a lot of Knipex ones in general, but I just grabbed these the other day while I was there, and I'm like overly impressed with how much I like them. Like how accurate, how good the feel is. Not Knipex nice, but they're for just like my. I'm way more impressed than I should be. But Knipex over everything. Fully agree. The Knipex flush cutters are so nice. They're not Knipex pricing either. That's exactly true. Because if these were Knipex, they would be like $50, $60. So, you know, there's some give and take. Now, I'm not mounting these permanently because they're definitely getting moved because these rock slider bases are all getting redone. So I'm actually not going to go through, and I'm just going to coil these in zip ties. Because I probably won't build the chassis on this chassis just because I don't want to get stuff all hot and stuff, but if I was, I'd probably pull some of this stuff out. That, and No. Shoot. Okay. So now I've got all the things that I'm going to get done tonight really done. I'll tell you a little bit about the plan for some of the other stuff on this truck and how I'm going to accomplish it. I won't pull up CAD and bore you all with that at this point. But I've posted a couple of like video clips and things like that of how the cage will be. It'll have a traditional cab section and a bed section, rear bumper. The sliders themselves, I'm replacing this part here with a sheet metal style design that's going to leave me some pocketed areas on the back. I'm going to have like a 3D printed insert that will cover things, but I think that's actually where like my receiver will go on one side so that it can be accessed without having to get into the cab, since the cab will likely be pretty much done in place. Like it will get set on and attached, and like you really won't be pulling the cab on and off, is the realistic nature of the design. So I'll have a little bit of access to that in case it's needed. Again, I'll try and incorporate some sort of interesting way to access the power switch, so that's a reasonable location. I need to get that coiled because that's a pain in the butt. I'll just... Where's the outboard motor go? The outboard motor stays by the dumpster, DK. That's the rule. But just trying to get this kind of crimped in place. That antenna is rigid enough that you can just coil it and it'll stay coiled. So, do you have a cab in mind? It will be the Fordyce cab. Like that's the whole point. Fordyce cab will be used. Fordyce bedsides are being used. So it's being built to that shape, that style. It'll have the funny car style hoop on the inside. Actually, I am just going to open CAD, no matter how boring some of you think it is to look at the CAD design. But the rear section is where, like I talked about the cab not coming off for a reason, and maybe it'll make a little bit more sense. Say, wasn't that supposed to be for the Top Gear Toyota? This is a different outboard motor. That one I ordered and got refunded. So, which, you know what? Good. Because that was going to be for the Flex Seal. So, hold please while this loads up. Make sure... Loading. The only thing that may happen is it happens a lot right now, is that when I try and start putting the CAD on here, it will crash OBS. So if I freeze for a moment, hold tight, I'll be right back. So let's see about this. Close that part. Run an ad for F1 while it loads. Okay, this is loading up. Hold please before I switch. Keyboard's up. Okay, OBS hates everyone. Yes, here we go. Let's try this switch. If it freezes, I'll be right back. Can you hear me now? Good. Everything was gone. audio, video, the whole deal. But, okay, we have that fixed. So, this is the CAD design for the cage. You can see the cab there. You can see the funny car-esque cage style. Turn it up. Is it low? Testing. Test, test, test. Maybe that's better. Anyway, I'm just going to cover over this because see if one of you guys gets smart with wanting to put some sort of funny message in there. That would be unfortunate. Anyway. Your audio sounds the same. Okay, cool. Anyway, regardless, we're back to this. So this is kind of what we're thinking here. There will be a full interior design that has to go along with this as well. Now, part of that is like I've done a laser cut panel up here, so it gives me all kinds of mounting points for the interior that will eventually come. You know, the dash up here, firewall, whatever it is. The back portion as well. I've got bunch of holes placed around where they can be useful across the top, sides, back. And then you can see this little section back here, this rectangle that's cut out. That rectangle, my plan is to have a panel that is sitting there and it'll have one of the panel mounted XT60s. So there'll be a hard mounted XT60. And then as part of the rear design, I'm going to have a tray that will basically slide into place and connect your battery all at once. So you won't be reaching up there to plug it in. There'll be a whole system that allows you to do it and then it clips in. I have the general thought in my head of this kind of sled system that I'll have that goes into place. But and that's what we're going to call, for all intents and purposes, our fuel cell. Maybe I have some style on top of it, whatever it is, but that's what it's going to be. And I think that it'll work out pretty well. I just made concessions to make it universal enough that I'm sure that it will work. So we have that there. The bed sides, since I'm replacing the whole rear cage, I needed to support them. So we'll have these pieces that come out. That'll all get, you have to weld all this stuff together, but with the rear bed runners for the side rails, these come up and will support it. And then my plan is to have a cap that goes over the top that will likely be hinged to be the carbon fiber tonneau cover, because that's what is run on the that's what's run on the full-size mullet, which is what the idea for this is to be like. I did kind of a different style rear bumper setup that it's got these panels and plates, and I plan to do some mesh that will back them so that they're, extra detail, kind of cool. The top and bottom plates in the back here match up. That top plate is what the rear tubes will get accepted into. So it'll all line up properly. Everything's tabbed together, so it'll all fit well. I've got some extra, attachment points put in there just in case. The, rear structure in the back that will, in the end, be our bumper to protect the rear of those corners there. Our tube or our shock mounts are moved slightly forward from the stock position, so moved forward a little bit, not a ton, but a little bit. Dig servo mount, that is, I was talking about that a little bit. I am gonna likely kind of modify, make a new, whatever I have to do. It can go underneath of a seat. It can go kind of, it can go over on the side a little bit, in this area. I can make it work. I'm not too worried about that. But We were also talking about the sliders. So this will be the new slider base, that plate there. See, the outer skin is going to be reused, but the underside there, you would never want these just ribs hanging out. So there'll be a filler that goes in here, but underneath is where, like I was talking, the receiver will go, and then this will have an access door that kind of plugs it and fills it, and that's how that whole thing is planned. But this will all be nice and smooth. You won't see any of those ribs. There won't be any of those catch points, and it'll all get filled in real nice. At this point, I have to start making all of my 3D printed fixtures for tube bend templates, and the actual fixture to hold the tubes to be welded in place. But there's also, you can see a separation between the rear firewall and the front of the bed bulkhead, and that is there'll likely be some sort of spacer that goes in there, whether it's a 3D printed spacer, whatever it takes to just take up the space. You can see the cab, like I left some fudge room in there, so all that can be adjusted as needed. And since I don't plan to take the cab on and off, I can have that ability to kind of fine tune that. But that was kind of my thought process. You can just see how the cage follows it, goes through there. I didn't use any rolled tubes on this one. Thought the center down tube on the hoop had to go to the floor. There's certain rules and certain things, and I'm not 100% sure how they have it on all of them, but I'm not too worried. We got intrusion bars. I plan to do like 3D printed window nets to fill in that area, at least on the driver's side. Still have a thought of cutting out the actual door and then doing a carbon door, but some of that is lofty goals, and definitely not something I'm going to try and have done for Proline by the Fire. So for Proline by the Fire, it's like I want to have this part done and some of the details that I need for like the slider stuff to be able to get that done, as well as like the battery setup, that whole deal. That is switching. That part worked. Switching back worked. So that's the plan at this point. No hood, SMX. So I'll probably do an SMX style cover up front, and be able to do turbos that peek through. This is the build along. Yes, this is going to be the build along one. That the CAD that you just saw. I've already broke out all of those laser cut files. I've sent them to Send Cut Send, and Send Cut Send has this thing now where they have, it's called a saved cart. So I put in my materials. I put in, so determine the size that I designed it around, put it all in there, and then I save that, and then I can share that link for that cart so that you can then just purchase that. You don't have to add it. You don't have to select sizes or anything like that. And you just click the link, and then you can hit buy. And I think it cost me like $101 or something like that. For all those parts, of course, other than the tube. So yeah, PayPal now. Yes, that is the plan. I'm doing 6 spots total for the build along. And again, there's a link in the Discord, or there's a link for Discord below. I'm going to try and run it through Discord. I know it's kind of funky and all that for people who don't use it normally, but I want to have it. I want to have it so that there's a private group for the people that will be doing the build along. Then we can like chat and share photos and things like that in there, like between us, whether there's something that needs to be fixed or improved or changed. So this is an experiment this time. I don't know how well it will work. I'm going to do my best. I know how I can make it work for me. I just have to figure out how well I can make it work for others. And I don't know. And that's why I'm only going to do 6. So if everything went to absolute hell and I couldn't give anybody what they needed to get it done, with 6 people, I could refund that and, walk away with my tail between my legs. But if it was a lot of people, it would be a lot harder. So the more the other platforms change, the more I prefer Discord. I have a lot to learn on Discord. And Nicole is on there as well. She's helping to moderate a little bit. So you'll see her on there. I think she's RC Kitty, because why not? I think that's her Reddit name. But I know nothing about Discord. Casey, Carl, you're not. Don't worry, you're not far behind me. I know like this much. But on there, it's just like a little message. We can all share messages in an area. It also has like voice and stuff like that. Josh will be her first ban. I'm clueless on Discord again. Art, trust me. It's not that difficult, but I get it. It's a little bit of a weird one. So as far as tools needed, a 3D printer and a welder are musts. Or it does. I mean, you could braze it as well. Granted, my fixtures are like they're going to be best suited for welding, TIG welding. They're not a must. You could absolutely like use the fixtures to get things fit properly, and then take them out of there and braze them up in a traditional way, like we have every other time beside this. At least you would still be, you would still have like the best possible situation to make sure what you have is right. So that's why I'm like, okay, I feel good enough about putting this method out there that it will work for whoever. You don't need a super fancy 3D printer. Any 3D printer I think will pretty much work. It's none of the sizes are going to be outrageous. Yeah, so my audio is faint. I'm turning it up. How about, no, that didn't go up that much. Maybe it's just my voice. But I am deaf. Okay, well, that changes things. So that is the thought process behind this. That's why I'm doing 6 at this point, and I hope that it works. I hope that it's fun. Cool design on the truck. I'm a big fan of mullet. Me too. One of the other things, so I have a list of like details and things I would love to. Dude, come here. I have a list of details that I would love to like mimic or include to make it like the mullet. And again, if you don't know what mullet is, it's from the Cletus McFarland channel. And I can move this for you now, Chief, if that would make you happier. But you know, the rear bed, there was some design styles there. The interior cage, a lot of those lines are based off of how that cage was built. But one of the things that I really liked when they were doing that build originally was Kevin KSR. He had put in all kinds of like wild sensors and things. Sent you my money, now I have to order a truck. Casey Carl, I'm happy to have you. But he had put in like all these sensors, and I'm like, man, I'd really like to incorporate some of that with like an Arduino and some data logging. So I grabbed an Arduino. I've got some data logging sensors and stuff that's absolutely unneeded. I don't know how to do it yet. I have a lot to learn, but it'd be kind of fun to actually do it. We'll see. We'll see if it works out. It's been a project I've been working on a little bit for a while, whether it was in a crawler or a go fast, but. And we're going to close that. And I've got my live chat up there, so I'm bringing it back down. There we go. So yeah, Arduino 0 for the win. I don't know what that means, so I'm going to write it down because I assume that you know considerably more than me about it. So, oof. Wrong pen. That was almost bad. That was like a normal pen. I don't know what Arduino 0 is, so we're going to find that out. Everyone say it, nerd. Should have gone Castle ESC, that way you could have built in. Well, I'm not looking to just build in the like ESC data logging is not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for some of the travel sensors and temp sensors on, on the full-size mullet build. They had travel sensors for the shocks, so they could tell what the extension and compression of the shock was doing through a run, and that's basically useless for what we're trying to do. But if I could have it, it'd be pretty fun. So it's that type of thing. Absolutely useless. Serves almost no actual point. It would be ridiculous to include it on anything else, but why not? So it's just, the this was just like a regular Uno board, but I was using it to like just upload some test code. But like this board here is a time of flight sensor, distance sensor, basically. And it uses really tiny little pins or pinholes basically right there. And it's kind of like a radar sonar type sensor, but it's super accurate. So if I mounted this, say, above an axle, and then I could, as the axle traveled up and down, I could interpolate what that meant for a shock position based on the angles. If one side flexes up, it's going to drop down a little bit further, but by taking the two, I could actually take and determine shock distance or compression on each side, no matter the position. The math on that isn't that big a deal. It's not that hard, but the time of flight sensor is kind of a cool option for that. I've got the micro SD card reader, and I've got a little GPS sensor that, since it's got a IMU, gyro and stuff inside. How hard would it be to convert the cage to work with the Phoenix body? I don't know. I think considerably different. I don't think that it would. The Phoenix, well, let me put this stuff away. So the points here are the same because they're made to work with the same sliders. But when you start getting into some of the other areas, like if you look at the width, the Phoenix is basically straight up from that side. So where the Fordyce, while it does come straight up, it actually kicks in and then it's more tapered in as well, which makes it a significant amount like more compact here in the center. And then if you look at like the roof area, you can see how different we are there. Now, so if you took the cage from this and put it in here, like that front crossbar is going to be way, way back here. It's, it's significantly different. So the length of the hood is where that comes in. There's a big difference. It's probably nearly like 3/4 of an inch or so longer hood on the Fordyce to do with the single cab look rather than the extended cab. So, but yeah, I figured the ends of the bed would be pinched more. The bed is the exact same plastic cage, same bed sides. So that's all the same. This point here, this meeting point at the back of the bed, back there, all the same. So this distance had to be the same, you know, and that's why this is the same, but yeah. The more you know. But there you go. We have exhausted most things. It's 8:56. Our numbers have gone down. People are getting ready for bed. I've had a large coffee now, so I'm ready to go. So I'm probably how many hours was the CAD work? Well, I don't know. Maybe so far. 16 to 20 maybe so far, but the hard part, the time consuming part, is probably more ahead, and it probably wasn't that much. Maybe it was 12 hours of CAD so far, but now I've got to create all of the jigs. So the bend templates is one jig, and then I got to make another jig that will hold it. And over the course of what timeline? Weeks? No, I did it in a few days, maybe 3 days. Yeah, I think, you know, I only worked on it. I didn't get the chance to really go back, but one night I basically did the style of the cage, and then from there, most of the time was in creating the laser cut parts, making sure everything tabbed together properly, breaking those laser parts out into another file, and then making the 2D files for each of those to send that over, things like that. But yeah, it's, I don't know. But for a normal person, weeks. I don't, the tube work stuff is, yeah. So will the Fort Ice go 12 miles? It absolutely will. Side project is going to require using Fusion 360, trying to grasp what I'm in for. You know, it can be so quick. It can be so long. It really just depends on the project and learning curves. I learn something every time I'm in Fusion. Like, I still do something different. I learn something new. Like, I just, yeah. It'll be okay. You'll dive in. If you have questions, let me know. I'm happy to help. While holding a sack of mixed vegetables on your sack. A little bit then. Yep. I had most of it done before that, but I'm looking forward to starting the actual 3D printing stuff. I'd like to get the people lined up who want to join the build along portion, because I think that like having people involved in it alongside with me will be like really good motivation, and then I think it'll be fun to share that stuff and have people use it alongside as well, because I've never had anybody else use the templates I've created yet. So I'm interested to see if it helps other people like it helps me, or if it's just the way my brain works and it will be unneeded or extra work for other people. So we'll see. That's why, and that's my motivation. Thomas Bialzik, thank you very much. Tell Nicole we hope she feels gooder. And thanks for another great Friday night. Thank you for joining, Thomas. Much appreciated. Wish there was a VW half cab. Would look rad with the Phoenix. Yeah, I know what you mean. The TGH Westmade one is pretty sick. But of course it's much, much smaller. Very small in general. You won't go bald alone while you pull your hair out through the process. Josh, will you still use the front swing hinge? So I'm going to use it as the front body mount, but it will no longer hinge, as far as I know, since I'm going to be separating out how the bed sides mount and how the cab mounts. I'm I don't know if with having a rigid cage in there, if it'll clear it, just because of the arc that it'll have to swing. I think the body would have to swing out too much and it will interfere, but it's something that I'll have to find out. With these builds and how I've done them, like with the Hack-A-Lack and with this one now, I almost have to, put the cart in front of the horse and make a design, get the parts off to laser, and then start with the other side of the fab and hope that everything comes in and works together in the end. And I'm usually have like just enough confidence in the plan or in myself that it will work. We're about to find out again. How do you have the steering servo and link set up on the Zoku Phoenix? In all truthfulness, it's exactly how it was in the end of the stream the last time. I have not touched or driven that truck since. Make the nose tip forward if nothing else. Could also anchor the cab in place. Oh, like if I actually cut the body, I could. I'd just be worried about how flexible stuff gets. Especially, because I'd have to do the whole nose basically, because that's how the grill is. Like it could, so I have to cut it somewhere, and like then do I cut it and follow the fender flare back, or do I have to go further back enough to do it at the door? And then you're like, you just introduce a lot of what ifs, and that's what I'm always worried about. So anyway, 9:02. It's gonna do it for tonight. Appreciate it to everybody who joined. Hope you have a good weekend. Hope you have a good long weekend if you're lucky enough to get it some time off. Happy Labor Day. We'll see you guys next time.